An economic blockade of Ukraine's Russian-occupied Crimean Peninsula continues. The activists running it, some from the far-right Right Sector Battalion, have come to an understanding with local law enforcement officers. At this post, we found an understanding with the activists. We're on the same wavelength. We're defending the people. Local traders can't get into Crimea, so they come here to the border to sell their goods. Local officials said they would help to organize the buying and selling, but so far nothing has been done. But it seems that, in spite of the blockade, Ukrainian goods are getting into the Russian-occupied peninsula. Our correspondent says there is one road which, it would seem, everyone has forgotten. It's the Arabat Arrow. We'll go down it now and see if a truck could use it to get to Crimea. At first, the road isn't too bad, but we don't meet any trucks and very few cars. When we come upon a checkpoint guarded by soldiers, everything becomes clear. The road is blocked off. Beyond the checkpoint, landmines and Russian-occupied territory. So it would seem Ukrainian goods really aren't getting through to Crimea. And that's not all. On the peninsula, water from the Ukrainian side of the border isn't being delivered, international flights don't go there, and there are no train connections either. Electricity was cut too for a time, apparently because of damage on the grid. It's back now, but there's less than before. Andrei Senchenko is a Crimea native and former lawmaker in the peninsula's parliament. He says the occupying forces had to bring in gas turbines to generate electricity. It's very expensive, but that's their problem. If Ukraine were to cut them off, they would have enough electricity, but it would be very expensive. Meanwhile, the blockade continues. Plans were announced last month to cancel a Ukrainian law which designates Crimea as a free economic zone, but nothing has been done yet. So the activists continue to take matters into their own hands. The coordinator of the blockade, a Crimean Tatar, says no one is excluded in this story. Everyone has to suffer. The Crimean Tatars are prepared for this. They know that we're here. We have a strategy to return the Crimean Tatars to Ukraine through sanctions and the blockade. We have a strategy being written now in Kiev. Meanwhile, it's time to dig in for winter. Inside these tents are warm mattresses and stoves. Russia illegally annexed Crimea in March 2014. Nearly 18 months later, the blockade is just 1 month in. The activists know that if the peninsula is to return to Ukraine, there's a long battle ahead.